we go, Tyler. We're recording. Thank you for coming back on Glass Half Full. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, Tyler. I'm doing good. Thank you. So let's jump straight into it. I do not agree with what happened to Mr. George Floyd. No one should have to go through that. The country is really reacting right now. What do you make of that, Tyler?
That's a very loaded question. So I do want to say my condolences to Mr. Floyd's family
Yes.
and those who loved him. I would like to say that we discussed this a little earlier, that truly Mr. Floyd is going to be a catalyst for everything that's going wrong with our country today. Well, we have COVID. We've lost 100,000 people in our country alone, zero leadership during this thing. And if anything, there's been instigation, people getting hurt and beat up for wearing a mask, people being persecuted for following the guidelines. People are tired and they're frustrated and they're fearful. And what happens is it all kind of gets like this and compacted. And then something like George Floyd happens and we just bust open. And it's just not George Floyd that we're upset about. It's everything, which is why I think the rioting is so violent right now. This is just people exploding, not over one thing, but a lot of things that have been contained. Someone earlier on Facebook said, oh, I guess COVID doesn't exist anymore. And
Yeah.
I wrote back, no, COVID exists, but people want justice to exist more so. I just found out in an article I read that some of the protesters in the original state where the murder took place don't belong to that state. They're shipping in protesters to create havoc. We don't know. Did you recognize everybody that was on the Tucson protest last night? We don't know if they put in a few people to cause havoc and then everybody, because, you know, a protest, when you get a group of people together, whether it's a protest, a concert, anything, you get a group of people together, there's energy and that energy spirals.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening with the protest is as this energy is spiraling, it's spiraling down because everybody's coming out of quarantine. Everybody's upset about the injustice. Everybody's upset about the president. And so we're just doing this huge spiral down. That's what's really happening. What do I think about that? I think there are peaceful solutions to every problem. You're talking to the peace queen. I mean, I'm someone that puts a peace symbol up on Facebook for the past 11 years. I mean, so we have to adopt the attitude that peace is a solution, and violence, to be violent against an act of violence is going to get us nowhere.
Let's talk about those positive solutions that you mentioned with regards to, you know, finding a constructive, positive solution and having a positive outlet and speaking your voice still.
Well, I saw some of the video from the protests last night, and I saw a man breaking the cartel window, which is a family-owned shop that was innocent and didn't deserve it. I'm hoping through that video they can capture that particular person and have him have the consequences. We have to remember the positive solutions is that all behavior, and now this is where the psychotherapist in me comes out, but all behavior has consequences. So good for the lady who's going to paint flowers and spread joy, and she will get consequences that are very positive for that. So I think in order to have to make change, I would love to see the police, the chief of police, come out and go, you know, we get you're angry. And if you destroy this town, there will be consequences. If you want to march peacefully, like, did you see the pictures of the Amish protesting?
No. Talk to me about that.
It's incredible. It moved me to tears. there is a picture of some Amish people holding up signs, and they're in their garb, their traditional garb, and they're just leaning and holding up their signs, saying nothing, and that's their version of protest. And that speaks 1,000 words, more so than people ranting and raging and trying to get on the TV and going, we're mad. And I mean, silence will fill my office with millions of words.
You know, and I do think about Dr. Martin Luther King.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know,
And
I
he
do think
did
about
protests that were nonviolent. And he died for what he believed in. He was gunned down and murdered for what he believed in, but he always did it with peace. I'm going to tell you, Edgar, us white folk ain't so peaceful these days. And and I'm a Buddhist. And as a Buddhist, my main focus is peace, you know, and I believe if we could just adopt the attitude of peaceful solutions. I'm seeing women out there going, get your guns, let's protect ourselves, and let's do this, and men going, yeah, we're going to take this town. That's not how to get it. Sit there and maybe have a t-shirt. Or today my protest was, I put a picture of George Floyd on Facebook with two peace symbols, and just said peace. I believe that was my way of protesting, that we need to address this in a peaceful fashion. And we can do it, but violence begets violence and peace begets peace. And we have to adopt that philosophy. How do you want this to be handled? It was a very violent act, and there's no denying that, what we had to bear witness. And that poor girl who sat there with that camera in her hand, watching him be murdered. And now she has PTSD and she's suffering, and people are blaming her and everything. She's become my new hero.
Yeah.
And that's all we need to do is, and Will Smith said it the best when he said, you know what I'm going to say,
Yep.
and that is, racism has never gone. We're just able to film it now.
Yeah.
So we just have to, and I love that. If you got a problem, film it. You know, if I went to a protest, I'd make sure my phone is totally charged. So I would turn in somebody who broke a window in a heartbeat, because that's not how I want to be represented. And that's what we have to remember. When you go out to do something for peace, how do you want to be represented? I want peace to represent me. That's the solution. And the way I look at it, Edgar, is karma is watching. You know, you may call it optics. I call it karma is watching. So that's what guides my life. Is I live for karma credits. You know, I want to do good deeds so that if I do screw up somewhere along the line, I can pull from my karma credits. I hope. I don't know, but I do believe karma's watching. So that guy that busted out those windows, or those who broke out car windows, I'd really park your car in a safe place, because karma watches and karma delivers. And that's what keeps me on a path that's more peaceful, is I know whatever I do, it's a boomerang that's going to come back to me. And if we can just keep that in mind, I think our actions would be different.
Very true.
So that's what I think our solution is to live your life. You don't have to be Buddhist. You can be Christian, atheist, Jewish, Muslim. I don't care what you are. Just adopt the fact that what goes around comes around. And I want to approach it with peace, because when push comes to shove, I want peace to be on my side.